Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danny D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas, and I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danny D, and I am here helping creative women, women leaders, professionals to find that space in life where your life is aligned, where you are living your life, not just for your business, not just in your business, but you are living your life holistically. So that's what we're here for. Tips, sharing, and we always bring on wonderful guest experts. And so today we have Miss Carmen Blyden, and I am so excited to have her on. When we met and had a conversation, it just enriched my soul, and I was just like, oh sis, you absolutely have to be a guest and come share some of this knowledge with our community. I'm gonna give a brief intro, but I'm gonna let her tell you about herself because y'all want to know her. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all want to know her. So Carmen is the unstoppable force behind the Health Energy Actively Living, or HEAL, and is the host of the Walk in Power podcast. As a wellness coach, Carmen uplifts overwhelmed women in business, guiding them to developing powerful habits and prioritizing their wellness and unlocking the door to more purposeful and fulfilling life. And oh goodness, that's just a mouthful right there, and like speaks to my soul. Carmen's mantra is, no woman should have to choose between her health and her goals. I want pause on that part.
Yes.
I want pause on that part because it's true. We shouldn't have to make that choice.
Yeah.
So,
and too often we are making that choice.
Yes, and it's a shame. And so, one, I want to welcome you, but two, I want to jump right in because that is just the intro of all intros of how we should be looking at life, especially as women and women entrepreneurs, looking at our lives more holistically.
Yeah. Thank you, first of all, for having me here today. I am honored and delighted. First of all, I'm more honored and delighted to be in my pajamas right now. So let's give a shout out to that, because I was too excited to have on some PJs, not have to overthink an outfit. Like, this is the definition of wellness. When your mind can be at ease and you can just flow, that is the definition of wellness. So thank you for that.
No, and I'm glad you appreciate it, because some people some people are like, oh no, I have to, and to each his own. Some people got to wake up in the morning and put on, their formal attire to work. But I'm like, I feel more creative when I'm comfortable.
Yes. When you're free to just be you in the moment and not have to put on the masks or the persona that you believe will be more accepted by the world, that's when you can really operate in your fullness, right? And so I'm not a makeup person anyway, but usually I'll get dressed. But listen, here we are and doing this. So thank you again. So when it comes to when you began this podcast talking about what we're here for, right? I embody all of that. My company, HEAL, encompasses all of that. Because too often as women, we have these really big dreams, really great visions for ourselves. And then we tell ourselves, in order to achieve that, we have to sacrifice our well-being, right? So therefore, I can get by on 3 hours of sleep. or I don't have to really eat a full meal. I could just always eat on the go. I'll just grab something on the way because I have to make it to all of these meetings. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to just sit back and relax and take care of me, because the moment that I do, something won't get done, right? I won't be successful if I rest. I won't be successful if I show up for me. We talk about entrepreneurship, and this is the same for women who are in leadership roles in organizations, right? Because you almost carry the same responsibilities as an entrepreneur when you are a leader, when you are the head. And the other thing that goes with that is often we're trying to prove our worth, trying to prove that we belong at the table, trying to prove our value so that we will be respected and compensated as the same rate as our male counterparts. And in doing that, you completely abandon yourself, right? The thing to keep in mind is that abandoning yourself, abandoning your health, choosing goals, choosing business over you will burn you out. It will lead to burnout, but it also leads to depression,
Mhm.
anxiety, anger, resentment. I mean, all of the things that will actually create more time in between you and your ability to achieve your goals, right?
Yes.
It will take so much longer when you're tired and
Yes.
you can't
Oh, yes.
think clear, right?
Yes. Yes. That's a sermon just right there because, you know, I've been on both sides of the spectrum, and I know that the old version of me, you couldn't have told that to, and I would have received it. But this version, this chapter in my life, I know it to be true. Like I know that, sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I go take a nap. And people think that's
Mhm.
the craziest thing, but yeah, I got a million things to do, but right now I'm in a headspace where I'm not doing any of them, or I'm
Right.
not doing them effectively.
That's right.
And
Some
so that break, that reset, I usually can come back and just execute. But when
Absolutely.
you're tired, you're not working at the,
No.
capacity that you could be working, because you're tired. You're
You're
tired,
running on fumes.
my grandmother used to always say, my grandmother loved to cook, and if she was in the kitchen and she dropped the spatula, or she dropped it, she said, oh no, I didn't drop something twice, that mean I gotta go take a break. And that
Absolutely.
always sticks with me, because you
Yeah.
notice when you start getting tired, you start dropping things, you start making mistakes, you start doing things that, like you said, are going to make it take longer.
Absolutely. You have to, sometimes you have to slow down to get ahead, right? And for some people, it's like, slow down. Guess what? One thing I know for sure is that what's yours is yours,
Yes.
right? What the vision that God blessed you with, the dreams that God blessed you with, they are yours. A part of trusting yourself, having faith, trusting the process, is not feeling like you always have to be on, but it's being able to rest and believe in yourself, in God, enough to know that this will come for me, this will happen for me, and I don't have to kill myself to get it. Because the reality is, I'm not saying you can't be successful if you run yourself ragged. You most certainly can, but will you be able to enjoy that success? Will you be able to say, oh, this journey has been beautiful? The beauty is in the journey, not in the success. You know why? Because once you achieve one thing, for all of us as ambitious women, once we achieve something, we're looking for the next thing to achieve, right?
Right.
We're never just like, okay, I achieved that. Now I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna be good. No, we every goal we hit is like, okay, all right, that was great. Now I'm going to the next goal. So if you only find happiness in the achievement of the goal, you'll be chasing happiness for the rest of your life. You have to find joy in your journey. You have to find joy in the process, joy and the person you're becoming over this period of time, so that as you achieve your goals, you can look back and say, wow, this was a beautiful journey. The hard parts, the easier parts, the people I met along the way, the things I learned about myself, this was amazing. And the only way you can do that is to be able to take a step back, sit back, relax, Rest your mind, rest your body, rest your soul, your spirit. Practice gratitude as you continue. And here's the other piece. You cannot receive the information you need in a state of chaos, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? You just talked about
Absolutely.
needing to take a nap when your brain is in a chaotic space, when you're not functioning well. You cannot receive what you need, right? When there's so many other things competing for your time and your energy,
Yes.
you're blocking yourself. You're blocking your blessings.
Yes. I say this all the time. When I shifted from, the grind culture and the
Mm,
goal and that mentality, and when I started practicing stillness and, started making rest a priority, I felt like the voice of God was so clear.
mhm.
And,
Absolutely.
y'all know I'm facetious, and I said, "Well, Lord, you've been talking this loud the whole time," because there were times when I was sitting there listening hard. I was like, "Sir,
Mhm.
can you get a microphone? Can you tell me something? I don't know." And the realization that I came to was his voice, his volume has never changed. My
Yes.
life was too loud.
Yep. Yep.
I couldn't hear him because my life was too loud.
Mhm.
And so we have to start turning that volume down on our
Yeah.
life so that we can hear more clearly. Or
Absolutely.
because in busyness, we feel like we're doing something because we're busy. But busy and productive aren't the same thing.
No, it's not.
And productivity requires rest.
Yes.
And so we have to shift that thinking. We have to let go of that even that idea, like you said about like looking at success in like the rest of your life. I'm gonna even challenge to say you're not successful if you're not successful throughout your life.
Yes.
You can get business success,
Mhm.
but if you got an ulcer and you know what I'm saying, if you're the top of
Yes.
your company, or you're the top salesperson, whatever it is,
Yes.
and you walk around with an ulcer, you going home and you're miserable.
Right.
What we doing? What's
Right.
the point? What's the
Right.
overall point? And I know that my idea of success has changed. So,
Yes.
at one point it was a dollar amount or it was a this. And now I'm like, you know what? I know strategically how to hit that dollar, but what does that dollar mean for my life?
Yeah.
And if that dollar does not bring something better, to my life, then maybe I need to look at a different um matrix of what
Yep.
success looks like.
Right.
Because I could hit the million, but if hitting the million requires me to, put everything else that is important to me on hold, mm, that million ain't looking the same to me anymore.
That's right.
Like I'm willing to negotiate for the betterment of whole than
Absolutely.
worrying about superficial standards.
Right. And with that, it's you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is my why? Who am I
Yes.
doing this for? Often we are being motivated by extrinsic motivations, right? Things that are outside of us. Doing it for your kids, doing it for your family, doing it to prove yourself. I tell people for a long time, I was climbing the ladder in the wrong direction because I wanted to prove to my family that I would be more than they said I would be. Because I had my first child at the age of 14. They told me I would be a failure. I would never have anything. I spent the rest of my life trying to prove them wrong. And in trying to prove them wrong, I was hurting myself, right? I was hurting myself. I was hurting myself mentally, emotionally, physically, going to college, getting one degree after another, working 2 and 3 jobs, making all to prove that I could do it, right? So when I changed my motivation when I one came into awareness of what was motivating me, right? And then I had to make a shift. Who am I doing this for? Right? First and foremost, I learned that I'm doing this for God. Everything I do, God is my purpose, right? He is the one who has given me purpose. He is the one who has given me vision. And then my dreams changed because the things I was chasing were things that weren't even aligned with my authentic self. And so, even in business, even in your careers, often we are doing things that don't even speak to who we are. And these are also things that create frustration, create stress, create depression. You cannot be happy in a place you don't belong in, right?
Absolutely.
Money will, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how good you look on paper, how many degrees you have. If you're not happy in that place, but you're striving towards success in a place where you don't belong, honey, you are climbing the ladder in the wrong direction. And that is a quick way to burn out,
Yes.
right? One of the quickest, and I had to learn that. I mean, I quit my job, and I didn't have another one, but I knew I couldn't stay there because I was climbing the ladder in the wrong direction. It was a great job. I was the director. I was making great money, overseeing all these people. Before I loved myself in God, those were the things that motivated me. Those were the things that I needed. When I learned to love myself and see myself as valuable with or without others, right?
Right.
With or without that external validation, I began to experience more peace in my life. So you also, again, so you have to ask yourself, who am I doing this for? What is my why? Because if you're not connected to your authentic self, your authentic purpose, you will continuously find yourself trying to figure it out,
Yes.
right? Struggling to figure it out. And what you're trying to figure out doesn't even belong to you.
And something I heard in what you were saying about, because they said I couldn't,
Yes.
and we all have that somebody or, concept of someone who didn't think that we could, that we're
Right.
trying to prove wrong. But, the one thing I know is no matter what level of success, no matter what accomplishment you make, there's going to be somebody that got something to say.
Always.
And so if we looking for that person who never saw the value in us to give us a seal of approval, that's you just chasing a carrot. You
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 just
you
it.
never will reach that goal. My
That's
grandmother
right.
used to say, they talked about Jesus Christ, so who are you?
That's right. They
You
hung him on the
know,
cross and nailed him. So who are you? If Jesus went through
if
it,
if he wasn't above, you
right?
know, the peanut gallery, then that
Absolutely.
reality of, I think a big part of my transition was that you got to go through a phase of I don't care.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I'm going to do me and how that looks and how that feels. And because that may be counter to mainstream culture, then it's going to get backlash.
That's right.
People want to stay in their comfort zone. People don't want to talk about this. People want to believe that they have to grind to, make it. And, because that's what's familiar.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
had to get to a point where I can't worry about what you think about what's happening with me, because I could be sitting here, like you said, on paper, looking, stellar, and
Fabulous.
inside feeling so empty
That's right.
because I want to look good on paper for
That's right.
someone else. I want to feel good inside. I don't care
Yeah,
what it
that's right.
looks like on paper.
That's right.
It doesn't have to look good to you. It doesn't have to make sense to you, and be okay with that. But that's a journey to get,
Yes.
to get out of what we've been taught,
Yep.
to really truly be present and live.
Yes.
And again, hear God, hear where God is taking you, because now I'm like, well, sir, can you put the megaphone down, because you loud, you real
Mm-hmm.
loud now, like you loud, like we doing this, okay, Lord, all right, we doing it. But you hear that more. You have that purpose, you have that drive when you let go of what, because he don't want us in pain.
Right. Absolutely. You have
Like,
to let go of that need for external validation, right? Like God can't bless who you pretend to be, right?
wait, no, no,
You're
no, pause,
right.
pause, friend. Say that again.
God can't bless who you're pretending to be,
Whew.
right? You're pretending to be happy where you are in life. You're pretending to be happy in these relationships. You're pretending to be happy in these situations when deep down you are crumbling. You're not living your truth. You're not showing up as your authentic self. And the longer you stay there, the greater the detriment will be on your life, right? It can be scary to stand up for yourself. It can be one of the hardest things you ever do, but it's also where you'll find your power, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also where you'll build your confidence. Is, you said a little while ago, so many people will prefer to operate in their comfort zone. In your comfort zone, you do what's easy, right? You do what does not rock the boat, what does not really require you to think too much, what doesn't stir other people up, what keeps other people happy. That is so easy. The question is, how do you feel? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? As long as you're not happy and fulfilled, none of that other stuff matters, right? You have to take a leap of faith to go against the grain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was raised, I was taught to people please, right? Like I literally told me, I was trained to be a people pleaser. That's all I ever saw around me was take care of other people. Doesn't matter what your needs are, doesn't matter how you're feeling, as long as other people are taken care of. I did that for so long. And I also struggled with depression for so long,
Mm-hmm.
addiction, and anxiety. The moment I decided to go against the grain, to say, no, I ain't doing it. No, I'm not available for that. Get somebody else to do it. It was scary. I was afraid I would lose people, and I did. I was afraid I would make people angry, and I did. But guess what? I've never been more at peace in my life. It was because of my decision to release the need to please that I started my business. That God blessed me with a vision like, okay, now that you're learning what it takes, I need you to go teach others what it takes. I need you to go bring others out, right? God has blessed me with so much since I've begun showing up as my authentic self. But I've also experienced so much more joy in my
Mm-hmm.
life, in my
Yes.
relationships,
Yep.
in all my experiences.
Yes. Yeah, I can co-sign that. I totally agree with that. My word for the year is joy.
Yes.
And that's my goal, is like, in my own life, but also to help others to find joy, because we
Mm-hmm.
deserve that every day. It's not the fine china that we saving for when the president come over.
Okay.
Our grandparents have that china that's
Oh,
been in in
listen.
that cabinet that ain't never seen a light. I don't know what day it's for, and I got a china cabinet too, but I pull that stuff out. I
Oh
don't know
my
what day it's
gosh.
for. I don't know when it's, because both of my grandmothers are gone and beyond, and
Hmm.
we still ain't never used
I
these.
was just unwrapping some of my grandma's crystals this morning. It's like, why is this wrapped up? What
Right.
is happening?
It was for some special occasion that
Yeah,
never
we never touched it.
materialized. And
Hmm.
so we have to start having those special occasions every day, all the time,
Every
and know
day,
that we deserve that we don't have to, wait on that to be a
right?
reality. And, you spoke about, the taking care of everybody else. And, you know, she probably come down and smack my mouth for calling her big mama, but we know that was who my grandmother was. She
Yes.
was the matriarch.
Hmm.
Everybody came through her house. And I was raised that way. So I have that spirit of nurturing and caring, but I had to learn how to shift that.
That's right.
I had to
We have
learn,
to.
because there was a time in my life where I was, I mean, if you ask the straights, I was, on it. I was taking care
Yep.
of everybody and doing
Everything.
everything. But then they weren't there at 3 o'clock in the morning when I was still trying to do my stuff, when I was
Yep.
still trying to take care of myself, when I was burnt out because I was everything to everybody else and
Everybody.
nothing to me.
That's right. That's right. And
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 I shifted it, and the world has not ended.
the world has not ended, and those people have not died.
They have not died.
They
I
have
don't
not
know.
died.
They moved on. What they doing? I don't know. It's all right. It's gonna be okay. And the reality is, we feel like if we don't take care of these people, what's gonna happen? But if we don't take care of us,
What's going to happen?
what's gonna happen? Because I've
Absolutely.
seen a lot of nurturers, caregivers, all of this go to the great beyond. And those people that they were nurturing, caring for, they still here, they still living, they still doing, they still
Living their
breathing,
lives. Yeah,
living their lives. They didn't all just crumble and die when that person left.
that's right. I watched my grandmother take care of people. Like she was literally sitting at the table making cake for someone when she had a heart attack. The crazy thing is she had just came out of the hospital the day prior where she had been admitted for her heart issues. Came straight home, someone calls her, oh, can you make this? And she has a heart attack. Those are the things that remind me of why I have to keep choosing myself.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we talked about a lot when we started just even planning for this was balance.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we create more balance in our lives? Well, one thing I know is one of the main reasons why we struggle with balance is because we have our hands in places that they don't belong in. We have our hands in other people's business and other people's lives and other people's concerns, making sure that they're good, making sure that one's good, taking care of grown kids, all the things that we don't belong in. We need to learn how to mind our business.
That
That's
part.
first and foremost.
That
When
part.
you okay, when you learn how to mind your business, you can experience more balance in your life. So you have to ask yourself, what are my hands in that they don't belong in so that I can put more of my hands in my business, right?
Correct.
More of my time, more of my energy, more of my joy, more of my peace, more of my body where it belongs. That's where we find peace. When you look at peace symbols or balance symbols, they're rocks that are lined on top of each other. They're women that are sitting centered. It represents wholeness. It represents togetherness. You cannot find balance when you are spread everywhere outside of you,
Ooh,
everywhere where you don't belong. The only way to achieve that balance and an alignment is to come back to the center. Come
yes.
back to your authentic self. Return to home,
Yes.
right? When you return home, you can begin looking at where you are in your life and asking yourself, where do I want to be? Where you want to be will require more of you for you. Another thing to recognize and understand about balance is life shifts, right? Life changes
Yes.
regularly. Life changes weekly for me.
Look, sometimes daily.
Okay. When you're raising kids, when you're building
Ooh,
a business, when you're in a relationship, I'm not married, but I'm in a relationship. If you're married, there's so many things happening around you. There's so many changes. Understand that one, this is your life. So if you have to make a shift in your life, make a shift as long as it aligns with you, right? The only time you get thrown off balance is when you do not know how to make that shift, right? When you do not know how to say, you know what? I know I did this all last week, but this week I can't do it because I have to stay in alignment here. So here's what has to happen. You know what? I know I usually cook 3 times a week, but this week I'm not going to do it. So you know what? Y'all go on and make some sandwiches. There's chips in there because this week, this is what I have to do. Don't get so narrow, the narrow thinking. Don't get so
Mm-hmm.
narrow in your thinking, believing I have to do it this way all the time, because those are the things that will cause you to feel like you're out of alignment. You have to be able to look at your life, remember your goals. Don't change the goal, change the behavior, change the habits, right? Remember your goals. If it doesn't align, you must decline. Whatever it is you have going on in your life, whatever decisions you make, if you decide, hey, I'm going to support someone, does it align? Can you do it? Do you have the capacity to do it? If you're going to take care of someone, can you do it? Do you have the capacity to do it? Is it going to take away from you achieving your goals? Is it going to take away from you practicing self-care? Honey, my bath night is on Thursdays every week at 8 p.m. Now, there were times that someone may say to me, Carmen, we would love for you to come and do this speaking engagement. And it's during my bath time. You know what? I enjoy going out and doing what God has called me to do. So I say, you know, my bath time is going to be on another day this week. Therefore, I might have to move this around. But as long as you're still able to show up for yourself, to pour into your goals and your visions, that's what matters. Do not get out of alignment.
No, I totally agree with that. And I think that the first step of that is figuring out what it is that you want. Because a lot of
Yes.
times, you know, we don't take the time to figure out what it is that we want
Mhm.
overall. Like, what is our, you know, I call it, you know, your personal success story. What does your
Mhm.
personal success story look like? And when you know what that is, like you said, either it aligns or it doesn't.
That's right.
And so a lot of times, you know, we have a hard time making decisions. We have a hard time getting clarity. But I think a big part of that is not taking that first step.
That's right.
Because once you take that first step, like you said, it's very clear whether or not this is in alignment. So
That's right.
if, you know, something that is going to further my mission comes up and it's on bath night, hey, it's a part of my mission. So I can
That's
make
right.
the shift, I can make the adjustment. But if somebody's just like, well, can you watch my child? Not tonight.
Not
I'm
tonight.
busy. Because what you have on your calendar, you know, I do a calendar detox, and a part of that is knowing that all of this other stuff that pertains to you is just as important as anything else that's on the calendar.
That's right.
So you put the bath on the calendar for a reason,
That's right.
because it's a part of your self-care regimen. So when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, that's as non-negotiable as the meeting that I have with so and so, you know, on Wednesday morning.
That's
So
right.
it's the same difference. So when I'm not going to remove that just because something else came up, or just because I know how to do it. Just I know how to do a lot of things,
A lot of things.
a whole lot of things. I'm capable of a lot. But guess what? Capable and need to do, capable and aligned with my vision, capable and aligned with my success story is not the same thing.
That's
So
right.
sometimes the answer is just no, and it doesn't fit, and that's okay. But, you know, one thing, you know, because I don't want to, you know, gloss over or miss the point of um us as helpers, and you
Mhm.
know, because that is, oh my Jesus, that's,
Yes.
we get stuck there. And what I realized is the healed or healing version of me is a better helper of others.
That's right.
So because in my unhealed state, in my nurturer, you know, state, I was enabling people, not helping them.
Yes.
You know, you think you're helping them, but you're doing it for them, and
You're
they
crippling
need
them.
to learn it,
That's right.
because you're not going to always be here. So the 85 people that you raising, outside of your own children, the 85 other people that you are raising and being, integral in their day-to-day life, what happens when you are removed?
Yes.
Then
Yes.
what happens? Because that person hasn't been exercising that muscle because you've been doing it for them.
Right. The best thing you can do for others is teach them how to take care of themselves. Teach them what it means to stand and be an example of
Yes.
that. Be an example of self-care. Be an example of confidence. Be an example of what it looks like to believe and love yourself, right? Now, like you said, we are considered the caregivers of the world, the helpers of the world. But when we go back to what does that help align with, right? When you say yes to someone, where is it coming from? That's the question I love to ask and encourage my clients to ask. Is it coming from a place of needing self-validation? Is it coming from a place to prove your worth? Is it coming from a place of guilt, right? Where is your yes coming from? If your yes comes from any of those places, you need to say no, right? If your yes is not full of love, if your yes is not full of energy, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Period. Right? Because too often we are making these decisions to say, well, I'm doing it because I'm a nice person. And I'm doing it because I want to prove to them that I really love them. When you really love a person, they already know.
Right.
And a person who really loves you back will not be offended by your no. Right? You also teach people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. So if you have no boundaries for what you can do, for what you will do, people will always come to you. I always tell people, I am that person in my family who people think twice and sometimes three times before they call to ask me for any help, for any support. Or they'll tell somebody, hey, can you call Carmen? They'll be like, you. They'll be like, I ain't calling her. Why? Because I've set my boundaries and I respect my boundaries. I don't need them to respect my boundaries. I respect my boundaries. So whenever someone asks me for support, the first thing they're going to tell me is what they've already done, how
Right.
they've already tried to help themselves, what steps they've already taken. And I might say, okay, that's great. Now try this.
Right.
Before I make it my business, right?
Right. Right. Look, I don't co-sign on loans, and I no longer co-sign on your problems.
No, no, exactly. Before you make it your business, before you start putting your hands in their business, you can give some great tips for how they can take care of their business. That is the best thing you could do for anyone.
Yes.
Anyone.
Yes. I mean, that has been something that I have definitely been, because this is a work in progress of
Oh,
coming back
yes.
off of this. And that's been something I've been paying attention to because, even just recently I've noticed, I was like, why does this situation irk me and not this
Yeah.
situation? And what I realized was, just what you said. In one situation, you're coming with, I tried this and I'm just looking for some outside input,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not bringing, you're not dropping off the,
Right. Dropping
like
it
we
off
like
to
to drop
me.
off them grandchildren and just zoom off. You're not
Mm-hmm.
dropping off the problem at my doorstep. You're asking for insight. And I'm a problem solver. So I love,
I
I
love it.
love to solve for X. So
Yeah.
have you tried this? Did you think about this? But then I've given it back to you. So now you have some more things to try
Yep.
versus someone saying, here, do this for me. And that is a total turnoff to me at this point. Now, in the past, I would just have done it and, well, they must
Yep.
not understand and just, do it and give it back. And now I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing this.
No,
You have to be committed to your own growth and
that's right.
development.
More
And I can't
committed to
do
your growth. than you are
Right.
to others.
Right. And I can't do it for you.
That's right.
So if if I see that, and I know how I am, I know that I'm full in. Like once put it in front of me, I'm full in. So
Yep.
if I see that I'm more interested in this than you are, let me slide it right back on over there to you, because we're not doing this.
That's right. And that's for
Because there's
everyone.
stuff that was what God put on your plate.
That's right.
He put some stuff on my plate, and I gotta do that stuff.
That's
I
right.
can't go back and say, God, I didn't get to it because I was working on so-and-so homework.
And he's gonna say, but that's none of your business.
Right.
Mind your business.
Right.
Right. And this is for everyone, right? This is for everyone. This is for your children. This is for your spouse, your besties, your siblings, your parents. I mean, there's nobody in this world like my mother who will give me their business. My mama will come. No, mom. No, mom. Right? Right. And because these are the people that are so close to us, we have this obligation, this feeling of obligation to them because we love them. But you cannot be more obligated to anyone than you are to yourself. You cannot be more obligated to someone else's health and wellness than you are to your own health and wellness. It's only when you are full, when you are healthy, when you are feeling whole, that you can really serve people the right way. But when you're serving on fumes, you're serving empty, like we said earlier, you're doing both yourself and those people a disservice. Because you know what comes with that? I said it already, but one thing I will say again, it comes with resentment, right? Because you're going to keep pouring out, and then you're going to be like, well, why nobody don't pour into me the way I pour into them? You've made yourself available. You've made yourself available. But it also comes with that burnout, that anxiety, that depression, the anger, the overwhelm, illness on top of illness.
Yes.
It's too expensive, baby. It's too expensive.
Look, that's a word. It's too expensive.
It's too
Because
expensive.
it's literally costing you your life.
Everything.
You may not see it, but it is literally costing you your life. You spoke about your grandmother. My grandmother raised me. My grandmother was in the hospital for congestive heart failure, and she's in the bed, and she keeps doing this. And I said, Grandma, what you doing? And it was this time of year that she was in the hospital, and she's doing this. And I said, what are you doing? She said, well, if I could work my hands, I could still make my pies. Because Thanksgiving was coming up. And, in one respect, that was, beautiful that she had something to look forward to. But in another respect, I'm like, you in the hospital and you worried about
baking pies so that
baking pies because she did that for the community.
And now this is the time where the community should be surrounding her to make sure that she's good.
Right.
And it's never the case.
No, it's never going, because you have set this unrealistic standard. Is nobody's ever going to be able to meet that back.
That's right.
And so it's really, again, going back to what matters to you, what gives you joy, what gives you fulfillment. And I mean, Lord knows I know about the resentment. When you are too tired to do your things because you're doing somebody else's things,
and they're succeeding.
They sleeping. They didn't.
But they succeeded.
Yes.
Right? They're growing. They're being successful. They're going after their dreams with your help. And here you are, too tired for yours. And they keep going. They keep going.
For your own. And the thing is once they disconnect, they just gonna leech on to the next.
That's it.
They're not gonna look back and say, oh, you know what? You did all this stuff to help me to get where I was. And now
what you mean?
9 times out of 10, they're gonna take it for granted. Look, when they get up there and have that acceptance speech, don't look for your name to be in it. Don't look for your name to be in it, because they didn't take that for granted.
They forgot all about you, honey. They forgot all about you, and you can't be upset. You gave it away for free and for nothing.
Right.
and you abandoned yourself, that you gave it away at the sacrifice of your own wellness, of your own health, your own dreams, right? And that is the worst thing you can do to yourself or others. Because one thing I know, just based on just us being here, when you are living and walking in purpose, when you are showing up as the woman God created you to be, you will bless so many people.
Yes.
But it's hard to show up. We're only here today because this is what God has called us to, right?
Yes.
It's because of me walking in my purpose, because of me trusting and believing in what God wants for me, that I was able to release the things that are not supposed to be connected to me, so I could show up in my fullness and in my grace and authenticity, right? But when you do that, you bless so many more people.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't bless anyone when you're tired. And
No.
you cannot connect to what makes you happy. You cannot connect to your joy. You cannot connect to your success story when you're mentally, emotionally, and physically drained. You can't. You can't hear God. God can't tell you who you're supposed to be, who you are, and what He wants from you. Again, because you are blocked.
Yes.
Right?
And then not only are you blocked, but you are teaching other people broken behavior.
That's right.
Because we all learned it.
Oh, I told you I was a trained people pleaser. Get in here for this people pleasing training.
We all learned it. We all learned that this is how you're supposed to operate. And so when we continue to do that, we are teaching other people that this is what you're supposed to do, that you're supposed to suppress your wants, your needs. And, you know, my thought process at this point is, why is that person's want needs more important than mine?
That's right. Nobody's more important than you.
Why should, you know, I understand compromise, collaboration, I got all of that, but why is it that I'm always the one that has to sacrifice what they want for the betterment of others? So you have to realize that your wants, your needs, your, you know, yourself as a priority is important, just as important as the person sitting next to you.
Absolutely.
And learn to love yourself the way that you love these other people. You know, you wouldn't let them neglect themselves. You wouldn't let them falter or fail, but you will let that happen to you because you feel like it's a requirement for them
to prove your love. To prove your love. That's really what it is, to prove your love, to prove your support, to prove that, you know, when we started talking, before we even logged on, the first thing we talked about was choosing to take care of ourselves over showing up for others over this past weekend. And while we had engagements, we planned to be there, our bodies were telling us, sis, I need you to take a minute. Well, you know, my thoughts was, dang, I already paid to go to this event. I really, you know, plan to be there. I told them I would be there. And my body said, I wish you would. Go do it if you bad. If you bad, go on out there.
Right. And look, and I'm going to show you too.
I'm going to show you, right? And so in that moment, my desire to support others was this small compared to my need to support and take care of myself. Right. They'll be fine. They will be just fine. There's going to be a ton of other people there supporting and taking care, but my needs must come first. Because if you are not taking care of yourself, and we've said it time and time again in this show, and so I think it's worth reiterating, if you're not well, no one else can be well. You cannot take care of others. You cannot support others. You cannot show up for anyone if you have not made it a priority to show up for yourself.
Period. Yes. And then it spirals. Yes. Because, you know, so you show up when you should have rested. Yes. Now you're tired. And so now you're going into the week tired. You're trying to play catch up all week long because you didn't get that rest that you needed. And then now I'm tired. So now let me just go order some takeout or pick up some fast food as opposed to, you know, having something
myself
that's good
a
for my
balanced
body.
meal.
Then somebody comes up with something else and you're not even thinking because you're so tired, you're
Yep.
on that autopilot, and you say, oh yeah, well yeah, I'll do that, and then you're like, why did I sign up for this? I already have 12 things this week. Like, what's happening? And
Yep.
it starts to spiral, and then you get into that, you get into that blah place, and you have to pull yourself back out when you could have just sat down,
Yes.
when your body told you to sit down
That's right.
and start off fresh. Because all the things that I thought I was going to do this weekend outside of the engagements, there were things that I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this weekend.
Yep.
All those things that were so pertinent to do over the weekend, and I did not have the energy to do, I got halfway through those this morning before we got on this call,
Mm-hmm.
because I came back to it fresh,
Refreshed. Yes.
refreshed. And that thing that felt so big and so complicated really wasn't that big. It wasn't really that complicated, but it felt that way because my body needed rest, and I wasn't
That's right.
I didn't have the capacity.
You was empty.
I was empty. I
You
didn't
were
have the
empty.
capacity. So anything felt like a big lift
Yes.
in
Yes.
that moment.
You had to refill your cup.
So you have to refill, and we have to stop feeling bad about that, because when I talk to people about stillness, like, it's almost like I'm telling people to go, lick a toilet seat or something. Like, they like, what do you mean I can't stay still? Like, and I get it, because it is a transition. It took a while for me to get here. I'm not downplaying that it's hard to
Yes.
reprogram.
Yes.
But we have to realize how insane that it sounds, that something as simple as sitting still sounds horrible to us. Like, I'm not achieving. I'm not getting there. And the sad thing is like, when I sit with people and we talk about, because on the other side of that, you have the whole imposter syndrome, and I don't feel like I'm good enough, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you did all of these amazing things. Like, how do you not feel good enough? But like you said earlier, we just gloss on to the next thing and go to the next accomplishment. We didn't even get a chance to enjoy
That's right.
the
And
thing
praise
that we
ourselves
did.
and celebrate ourselves and
Yes.
pull out grandma's china and take a
Yes.
toast, and for where we are right now, even before the success, right?
Right.
Even before the big thing, you can begin the celebration right now, simply because you're showing up, simply
Facts.
because you're here, right? But one last point I want to make is, so many women stay in these places and stay stuck in these places of self-abandonment because it's not hurting bad enough yet, right? The doctor has not given the diagnosis yet. Oh, well, I'm tired, but I can still do it. It's not hurting you enough for you to make a change. But here's what I want to tell you today, sister. One thing I tell my clients is, you do not have to wait for tragedy to make a change in your life. If it's not bringing you joy, if you are unfulfilled, if you are overwhelmed, stressed out, depressed, that's enough right now to make change. We talk about, I was one of those people who couldn't stay still, always felt like I had to be doing something. And it wasn't because I had the energy to do it. It's because my mind told me, if you're not doing something, you're being lazy. If you're not doing something, you're failing. If you're not working right now, you won't be successful. That was a mental thing. You're not doing it, sis, because you have so much energy, because you don't have the energy. You're telling yourself, I'm not good enough unless I'm going, right? I want to encourage you. Anything that you say you can't do, you won't do. Anything. So if you say, I can't keep still, I can't take care of myself right now, I can't do more right now, I can't whatever, then you will not. You will not. The only way to shift your behavior, to shift your mindset, is to begin doing those things that you believe you can't do. To begin taking naps in the middle of the day. Set that alarm clock, take that 30-minute nap. You tell, so many people tell, I can't sleep during the day. As soon as I say, let's try this. Next thing, girl, I done took me a nap. Why?
Right.
Because you got an agreement with yourself.
Yes.
You have to get an agreement with yourself to do the things that self needs, right?
Yes.
Since you deserve to be happy right now, let me tell you that. You deserve to be healthy right now. You deserve to be fulfilled right now. You deserve to have every experience in your life that fills your cup right now. Not when you make more money, not when you finish that last training, that last degree, when you hit that big accomplishment. You don't have to wait until then to welcome joy into your life. You can
Absolutely.
get started right now. Here today, listening to this podcast, these are two women right here who joy was non-existent at one point.
Right.
But then we got an agreement with God. And God said, this is not what I said is for you. This is not what I meant by honor thyself and thy neighbor, right? Love thyself as you love your neighbor. Remember the word as, which means love yourself first. He did not mean love everyone else and then you.
Right.
Love you first.
That part.
And then the things that you use to fill you up and put your cup in overflow, you love others from the overflow. You love others
Yes.
from what you have poured into yourself. It is your time. Your time is not tomorrow, it's not next week, and it's not in 2024. Cut that crap out. We're not waiting.
Look, you got to start on a Monday.
Right.
You
All
got to
right.
start the first of the month.
I
Oh,
used to be
Jesus.
that person too. So I'm not even going to judge you, sis. But I'm here to
No.
tell you, stop putting yourself on hold because you don't put anybody else on hold. You don't put anything else on hold. Why do you have to wait for what you need right now?
100%. 100%. They like tomorrow not promised. They got a lot of people that did not wake up this morning.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they had hopes and dreams
And
and
goals
goals, things
that they was going to start next week.
that they was going to start next week, that they was going to start on the first, because the first is coming up. So that's a good one too. They, they have all of these things and they go. And so the reality is, like you said, start today. And I think a lot of times we always want to, when we do stuff, we like to do it on a honey. Don't it don't everything don't have to be that, and it really doesn't work. It's incremental change, it's intentional change.
That's right.
It's not going to be, you're going to just go to being zen tomorrow. Like it doesn't work that way. But give yourself 5 minutes of me time today.
That's it.
Give yourself 5 minutes of time that you just reflecting on you. That could be, if you a Starbucks girl, go to Starbucks and get you a Starbucks and sit there and just listen to whatever music you enjoy and just, I mean, just be. Just be. Go sit in the park. Go take a walk. Do something that is just about you, just about your joy. Just gives you time to think, reflect, and just keep going.
That's it.
Just keep going. Start somewhere and just keep going. Pull out that calendar. Pull all that stuff off. That has nothing to do with your goals. Has nothing to do with what your success story looks like in the end. Because once you come up with those tenets that are important to you, if it don't mesh with that, then pull it off.
That's it.
And that doesn't mean, some people think that means that, well, I'm never going to see friends and this again. No, having a great relationship with my friends and family is part of my tenets.
That's
so
right.
if all of the things align, guess what? Then I'm going to have drinks with my girlfriend. But we all have a great understanding of, if somebody say, oh girl, I got to cancel. Okay, that's cool. Look, I hadn't put my clothes on yet anyway.
Let me tell you, the way I be happy when someone cancel, I go, oh God, you are so good.
Right. I'm like, oh, I could use that rest time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the end of the world. Like,
that's
you
right.
never have to feel some sort of way about canceling with me. Never. Because I'm just like, you know what? I'm about to go take a nap, or
I'm going to bed.
Like, it's no big deal, but we have to get to that point of, where we are focused on making sure that we are finding joy every day.
Every day.
somewhere every day. I'm an
Yeah.
experience girl. And so I posted a few weeks ago, just Saturday morning, me and my husband were having breakfast, but the weather is cooled down. So we went out on the new patio and we, having breakfast, put our juice in a fancy glass. It was the same breakfast that we have every
Mhm.
Saturday. Nothing, but just that little bit of effort elevated that
That
experience.
absolutely.
And
Because
so,
and knowing you're worth that.
and knowing that you're worth that, knowing that you're worth having a great experience. And it doesn't have to be about money, and it don't have to be about spa days, but I do like my spa days, but
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be that, but those things that bring you joy. Maybe it's going walk around in Target.
Yeah.
That might be the thing
Whatever
that
it
you
is.
enjoy doing, but get back to finding out what that is, because I think a lot of times we've just lost touch with what
Yes.
that even is. Like, we know we're somebody's wife, we know we're somebody's mother, we know we're somebody's daughter, we know,
But we don't
you
know who
know,
we are.
but we don't know who we are and what makes us happy.
Yep.
And we definitely don't know how to find that balance,
Yeah.
because there's no reason that your work, whatever that work may be, whether it's work for others, whether it is a job, whether it's a business, is no reason that that work should be taking up so much of the pie.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
that's ridiculous. And I know that there's that saying, you go from, working 9 to 5 to working 24/7. You don't have to.
No, you don't. You
You
don't.
you don't have to.
You really don't have to. And I mean, again, as a business owner, you understand the need to show up in your business. But if you're not well and showing up for yourself, there will be no business.
That part.
There will be no money coming into that business. And so having a schedule, just like you would at a 9 to 5, a schedule for when you work in your business. You have to treat your whole life like it's a business when you're the business owner. CVS is not open 24 hours. They have boundaries. You better get here between this time and this time, or we close. So when do you close? You have to have a
Right.
close time. You
Right.
have to, you have to have an open time. My family knows I don't speak to anybody on the phone before 9 a.m. Don't call
Ooh,
my phone. Don't look for me. You can text me. You can go, but I am not responding. I don't do anything with anyone before 9 a.m. At 8 p.m., my phone automatically goes on do not disturb. I'm not available, right? This is for business. Business is way earlier than that. I mean, people call me on my business phone on the weekends. I just look at it. They will leave a message, right?
right.
Because we're not chasing. And when you are constantly available in your business, it's because you're chasing. It's
Right.
because you're chasing and you don't believe that what is for you will be yours. Honey,
Correct.
the only thing you need to be chasing is your health.
That.
Chase your joy, chase your peace. Everything else will align. Have those routines, those rituals that are in your schedule. Listen, everything I do is on my calendar. Time with my son is on my calendar. Time with my man is on my calendar, because I need to see, okay, here's what I'm doing so I can make sure that my self-care is in there, right? I don't know. Yeah, well, I did tell you, so, but like right now, I'm getting ready to do a challenge, teaching women how to start their mornings off right. Right. So many of us, listen, I have friends. The first thing they do when they jump up in the morning, check email, right? Jump on the phone to see who's calling them. All of the things that immediately take out of you. You cannot start your day pouring out.
Mm-mm.
You cannot start your day pouring out. And this is what I'm training women on. This is what I'm teaching women. How do you start your day for more peace and productivity throughout your day so that you can feel fulfilled, so that you can feel ready and empowered to
Yes.
go into your day with confidence, right? If
Yes.
you don't have the right habits and the tools, you will always be running on fumes, living on autopilot from one thing to the next.
Yes.
Can't tell your head from your behind
Yes.
because you refuse to slow down.
Yes. And the way all of that ties into your nervous system and your stress and your
All of it.
anxiety, you know, I have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I suffer from anxiety because it's in check
Yes.
because of those habits like you speaking about. I'm the same. Don't call me before 9 o'clock in the morning. People say,
Please
"Oh,
don't.
we can schedule this at."
Nope.
Mm.
Not before
Not
9.
if you want the me that you know and love to show up.
There you go.
It's
Not if
not.
you want the better version of me.
It's
Mm-mm.
not going to work because I have to ease into my day. I'm not a morning person,
Yeah.
so I have to ease into my day. But um, that that thoughtfulness piece of how I ease into my day, it makes a huge difference because
Yes.
it's like we go to bed to the email and the electronics, and we wake up to it,
Mm-hmm.
and
There's no rest.
there's no rest because you had on your mind whatever you saw before
Yep.
you went to bed, and then you wake up in the morning and you jump right on in, and for some reason we feel like it because of email is sitting in that inbox that we have to, like we're a slave to it. You have to, like you said, have your routine and let it fall in there where it falls,
That's right.
but you got to cut those cords
Yeah.
to that
You have to make
connection.
peace. Make peace with release. And that's the hardest part, right, sis? Is
Yes.
cutting the cords, cutting the
Yes.
things that you believe you're supposed to be attached to.
Yes, it's so hard. It really is hard, but we have to start the process if we
Yes.
want to start to heal. And one thing that we kind of like, have touched on, but I just want to pinpoint before we leave is, your work is not your worth,
That's right.
because that's where a lot of this comes from, is that we we feel worthy when we help others. We
Mm-hmm.
feel worthy when we,
Have
are the
success.
the the straight A student, the top of the
Mm-hmm.
class,
Make more
the
money.
make more money. We feel worthy.
Mm-hmm.
None of those things will get you worth. It's no degree that's going to get it for you. It's no dollar amount. It's no amount of martyrdom that's going to get you there.
Nope.
You were worthy because you are.
Period. When you at birth. At birth.
You came here worthy.
That's right.
And so there's nothing that you're going to do that is going to prove your worth except you accepting that you are worthy and
Yeah.
you walking in your worth.
That's it.
You can't holler it at nobody. You can't beat it into nobody's head. You can't make anybody believe that you are worthy unless you believe that you are.
That's it.
And that's going to resonate from you, not there's no force and there's no milestone, because we believe that, it is at this next milestone they
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Then I'll be
believe
good enough. Yep.
that I'm good enough. But God told you was good enough.
Already.
And who else has more authority?
Mm-hmm.
So why are you seeking it somewhere else? So we have to, go back to that point of he said you was worthy.
Yes.
Let the world figure it out. They gonna figure it out on their own. But he
That's
said
right.
that you were worthy. So walk tall in that and stop trying to climb your way to worth.
That's it. This is great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad that we met and that we, had this exchange. I can go on for hours because
Yes. Yeah.
it's so
Trust me.
much on this topic.
Yeah.
But I want you guys to, make sure that you are following Carmen. Carmen, let us know what's the best way
Yes.
for people to follow you.
Yes. Yes. So you can follow me on Instagram at Heal with Carmen B. I'm on LinkedIn at Carmen Blyden. You can also check out my website, healwithcarmenb.com. I'll make sure I also share everything with you, sis. You could put it in the show notes. Also, if you want to join my upcoming 7-day challenge, is going to be phenomenal. So it is the Miracle Morning Mastery Challenge that we'll be doing starting on November 12th. again, just to help you really start your day with less stress, right? And feeling more focused and empowered to go into your day with confidence. I know that this is something that so many women struggle with. So I want to definitely show up and support and offer the coaching that is necessary, needed for you to be able to show up as the better version of yourselves. And that's it.
Okay, that is absolutely amazing. Y'all get in this challenge because it is a game changer.
Yes.
Changing your morning routine. I know that just from personal experience. When I knew that I was going to leave my job, but I, had some time I needed to, had some
Yep.
things I needed to deal with. So I had some time left there. It started with changing my morning routine.
Hmm.
And that's what allowed me to stay focused longer
Yes.
so that I could do what I needed to do. But it started with that morning routine because basically you're starting your day with the proper mindset.
That's
So
right.
make sure you get into the challenge. Make sure that you are following Carmen. Make sure you check out her podcast as well, because again,
Yes.
this topic is so rich. Like I feel like we could do like a 3-day conference just on this topic
Listen.
alone. So I really, I want y'all to stay connected. I will ask you our 3 questions that we always ask everybody, and then we'll wrap
Okay.
up. So first, tell me about your favorite pair of pajamas.
So my pajamas right now are my onesie. So, all the way to the toe. I love it. One right now, I'm in Boston. It's colder here, but it takes me back to childhood. As we become women and get older, we go more for the more sometimes sexier pajamas. We want to feel more, but I love reconnecting with my inner child. So when I put this on, I feel so cozy. I remember running around the house as a little girl with my onesie pajamas on. And it just brings back those really warm memories for me. And they keep me very warm because it's cold.
I'm still wrapping my mind around it. I saw like a football game the other day, and I was like, why is it snowing?
Oh
But
my
I'm
goodness.
here in New Orleans, so it's like, first of all, we never get snow. And second, I'm
Right.
like, it's if my husband said, well, it's October, I said, it snows in October. Is that a thing? Like, so
Oh, it's definitely coming to Boston.
gotcha. So warm and cozy. I love it. I absolutely
Yes.
love it. Um, my time freedom allows me to.
My time freedom allows me to refill.
Mm,
Allows me to refill. We spend so much time pouring out. So having time freedom, when I was before the woman I am today, I had a hard time just being alone, spending time by myself. Now I crave time alone. And when I do have time freedom, I want it to be alone, by myself, going on a solo date, taking a bubble bath, exercising, whatever that is, it's just time to pour into me.
I love that. I love that. And we all gotta find that time and get
Yes,
comfortable because it starts out uncomfortable,
very.
but learn to get comfortable with it, to sit with ourselves, to know ourselves, and to love
Yes,
ourselves.
yes.
So what is the best advice that you could give anyone seeking the profits in pajamas lifestyle?
Love yourself. Everything starts with love. When you love yourself unconditionally, you will give yourself everything you desire and deserve. Without loving yourself, you struggle with low confidence. You struggle with that self-doubt. You struggle with that sense of self-worth. You question yourself. You question whether or not you're enough or worthy of all this softness and beauty and joy. Do I deserve this? But when you love yourself, it turns into I deserve this. I want this. I'm giving this to myself. I'm
Yes.
going to go after this for me. So the best thing you can do for yourself is love yourself so that you will pour into yourself without limits.
I absolutely love that. I did an episode couple of months ago about coming from a place of love, and it was talking about how, a lot of times, like, when we go on a weight loss journey or whatever it is, it's coming from, oh, I hate how my body is, I
Mm-hmm.
hate this. And when you come from that place of hate, it's like, deprivation and all these
Yep.
other things that,
Yep.
make it unsustainable.
Mm-hmm. And
But when we
unsuccessful.
and unsuccessful. But when we come from a place of love, then you start making more loving decisions for yourself.
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
I absolutely love, how you put that. Like, that just speaks to my heart. Um
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go because we're gonna be here all day and all night, because I love your energy, and
Thank you.
I love that we're bringing this forward, because I feel like it's so absolutely needed that
Absolutely.
we have to give ourselves permission to love ourselves. And
Absolutely.
so thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
and
This was
sharing and
beautiful.
being open with our audience. Like I said, we're going to put all your contact information as well as a challenge in the show notes. Y'all get on the challenge, don't sleep on it. Get on the challenge, because we are living in joy. We're moving forward in joy.
Yep.
We deserve it, and we're not going to live another day without it. So
That's right.
let's make the shift, let's make the change, let's move forward. um you know I mentioned before about successes and success stories, and staying focused in that. I'm going to share in the show notes my success journal that's out, and that's really just a place for us to document our successes, so we can look back over it, so that we can see, what, I have success in every day.
Yes.
And the success might be that I sat down for 5 minutes and loved myself.
That's right. I love that.
So I'm going to love y'all and leave y'all. And I hope that y'all are going to love you just as much as you love those around you. So I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at CoachDanniD.com.